Screencast 1.4 for AP Chemistry. Here's a comparison of AP Chemistry with first-year chemistry. This is an important thing to consider since the schedule for AP Chemistry is very difficult from your first-year chemistry course, and you can use this to get an idea of what we're going to emphasize and what you might already be solid on, what you might want to review a little bit more when you see the differences. Now, a first-year chemistry course usually starts from a general introduction and works its way to specifics. So you'll have an introduction to chemistry, how to work with data, what is matter in general. I mean, chemistry is the study of matter, so there's a whole chapter on that. Then we look at from the very small and get a little bit larger, the atoms and the electrons, how that is incorporated into the periodic table, fundamental types of bonds that can exist within substances, gases as a separate unit since there's a lot of formulas and things like that that go with that, chemical reactions, and finally it's not really until sometimes February or so that we even talk about the mole, which is really at the heart of any type of chemical reaction or certainly any calculation that involves substances. It's amounts, right? We then look at what a solution is, since so often chemistry takes place in a solution phase. And then we take a look at energy, which can be fun for students. The rates of a reaction is touched upon very briefly. You may not have had it at all. Equilibrium, the concept of a reversible reaction, gets covered very little, if at all. We did cover it briefly in my class. And then finally acids and bases at the very end. Now, compare that with the AP Chemistry class, and you'll see we don't start with just a welcome to chemistry, what is it, and atoms, things like that. We dive really into the nuts and bolts, stoichiometry, which is really all about the mole. Gets covered even a little bit during the summer and during the first couple weeks of the course. A little bit about solutions, and then into the really four most challenging chapters of the year: rates, equilibrium, acids and bases, and buffers. Now buffers doesn't even show up here. Equilibrium got covered weekly. Rates, which AP tends to call kinetics, gets covered briefly at all in your first year course. So these get expanded a lot. This is the time really to work hard and perform well, because these chapters are the most important. Once we've done that, we go into some stuff that I think is more review and is usually a little less challenging for the students. The electron, which I believe I called the atom, so it covers both the atom and the electron, things such as Heisenberg's uncertainty, Aufbau principles, things like that. The midterm will emphasize real AP items. Bonding is something you've had before, so this is somewhat review. Gases is something you've had before. Of course, they cover it in, at a deeper level typically for AP Chemistry. Intermolecular forces does get hit pretty hard, whereas it was covered briefly typically in first year chemistry. Energy you've had before, but this actually is two separate chapters, both thermochemistry and thermodynamics, and the mathematics is certainly deeper than it is for first year chemistry. Electrochemistry is something that's brand new, but it's such a timely topic, what with the Toyota Prius, which I own, and all the importance of battery-powered things and the concept of hydrogen as a power source. It all ties into electrochemistry. Okay, and after that, you take the test and you're all set. So this is just a little bit of how AP Chemistry compares with first-year chemistry.